On the rock, the sure foundation, stands the citadel of erudition. Learning like Bell's University of Tech, built to impact knowledge, to strive towards academic excellence, save our society from moral decadence. Brighter future lies in technology, glowing offspring the vision. Share the dream, tread the path, be like parents of a prosperous nation. Raise up, celebrate the prominence of science, go ye offspring of vision. Share the dream, tread the path, be like parents of a prosperous nation. Raise up, celebrate the prominence of science, glow ye offspring of vision. Thank you. Please can we all have our seats? I welcome everyone again to the annual lecture and award presentation of the College of Management Sciences. And the title of today's lecture is The Challenges and Effects of Technology on Sustainable Financial Literacy in Nigeria. And we have our wonderful guest lecturer here present and many other dignitaries. It promises to be exciting and very educating. Okay. So the next on our agenda is to recognize our special dignitaries that are here present. So I'll be introducing some of them while my colleagues here would also introduce some others. So students and everyone present here, please, with a very warm round of applause. Firstly, let's welcome our ever smiling, always vibrant Vice Chancellor of Bells University, the person of Professor Ojediran. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. Still with a very warm round of applause, let's welcome the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Bells University, in person of Professor Olubukola Kuforiji. Thank you, ma. You're welcome. Also, let's put our hands together as we welcome the Registrar of the University, in person of Mr. Lamidi Tafa. Thank you very much, sir. Also, let's put our hands together for the Bossa of the University, in person of Mr. Adepoju Omotayo. Okay, he's on his way. And let's put our hands together for the University Librarian, in person of Dr. Yusuf. Good morning, ma. You're welcome.
Still recognizing our dignitaries here present, we want to invite Professor Igalo to the front row. If you're present, sir, kindly come to the front row. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Professor Igalo, that is the Dean of Colem. You are welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Please, let's put our hands together, please. We are also recognizing Dr. Omoeke, the Dean of Colnas. Okay, he's already on the front row. Please, let's put our hands together, please. Then, next on the list is Professor Kuku. I don't know if you are here already. Kindly come to the front row. Let's put our hands together, please. Professor Kuku, please. You're welcome, sir. Then we have Professor Adenuga. Are you here, sir? Please, kindly come to the front row. Yes, sir. Please come to the front row, sir. You're highly welcome, sir. We have Professor Dauda. Please put our hands together, please. Professor Kombi, please. Let's put our hands together for him as he comes to the front row. We are recognizing Dr. Abam, the Dean of Student Affairs. Kindly come to the front row, ma. We have a seat for you. Put your hands together, please. Dr. Abam, please, to the front row. You are highly welcome, ma. Students, make sure you applaud our staff when they are coming forward. Bells tag, only the best is good for bells. So let it loud, make it loud. Next on the list is Dr. Onifade. Dr. Orifade, please. Then we have Dr. Enino Olobo. Please come to the front row. If you hear your name, sir, kindly help us come to the front row. Please put your hands together as they come forward. Oh, that's good. Professor Semobo, please. Kindly help us come to the front row. You are highly welcome. I don't know if Professor Cho is around. Please put your hands together, please, as you come to the front row as well. Professor Cho. Okay, I guess he's still on his way. Thank you.
Still recognizing special people that we have here. Okay, this person I'm about to introduce now, she is our main guest for today's annual lecture, but I will just recognize her briefly. When it's time for her to deliver, she would be duly cited. But please let's put our hands together for our guest lecturer for today, in person of Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo. Thank you, Ma. You're very much welcome. Still recognizing great people here. Please let's put our hands. We arrive, we keep recognizing special people amongst us. So the next on the agenda is the Dean's Welcome Address. The Dean of College of Management Sciences. Please put your hands together as we welcome Dr. Mrs. Bibiana O. Njogo for her welcome address. Okay, please, we welcome Star Maritime College. Thank you for coming. Please, a round of applause for them. School of, oh, it's an academic. You're welcome, please.
Thank you. The Vice Chancellor, sir, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the University Librarian, University Bursar, Dean of Postgraduate School, Deans and Directors of Centers and Units here present, Heads of Departments here present, our guest lecturer for today, guests of honor from other higher institutions, staff and students of Bells University of Technology, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you for being here with us today. Today marks our 11th annual lecture of the College of Management Sciences, and we are proud to host it today here at this wonderful place with all of you. Before I begin, I would like to use this opportunity to thank our distinguished guest lecturer, Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo, for accepting our invitation to deliver today's lecture despite her busy schedule. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to you, Princess, and your Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Babatunde Okeniyi, for sponsoring our lecture brochure. I also thank all of you who worked to make this event a success. The college lecture series have become part of our culture in Bells University of Technology. It is a lecture that connects a vast network of industry professionals, bringing real-world relevance and career exposure to all in academic environment. The topic of the 11th annual college lecture, the challenges and effects of technology on sustainable financial literacy in Nigeria, is indeed apt in the realities and the challenges of today's economic environment. Financial literacy is increasing awareness and know-how on the management of finances and the use of relevant technology to achieve desired objectives in transactions in a timely and productive manner. Therefore, our guest lecturer of today will educate us on the challenges and possible effects of technology to achieve desired objectives in transactions in a productive manner. Indeed, our guest lecturer for today's college lecture is an experienced woman in the world of technology. She is a nationalist and an astute administrator. Let me reiterate that the current situation we find ourselves shows that there is need for increased consumer financial literacy to improve the literacy penetration ratio, which is still low. At this college lecture, I invite us all to put our thinking hats so that we can debate and deliberate constructively on ways in which financial literacy can be further promoted to facilitate the achievement of the goals of a new Nigeria. I want to thank our highly respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediro, and his management team for their support and encouragement given to our college. Let me at this point appreciate the efforts of the organizing committee and all the staff in the college, both teaching and non-teaching, for their tireless efforts towards the success of this lecture. Our highly respected Vice Chancellor, the guest speaker for today's college lecture, deans of colleges here present, staff of Bells University, Bells students here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this lecture. Bells Tech, only the best is good for Bells. Thank you and God bless you.
Please, a round of applause for her once again. Thank you very much, Ma, for that awesome welcome address. I have some other people to recognize that have joined as we started. Please put your hands together for Professor Fayemi. Professor Fayemi, you're welcome. Please come forward, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's put our hands together again for the representative of Base 4 Investments Nigeria Limited. A representative from Base 4 Investments Nigeria Limited. You're welcome, sir. Please come forward, sir. Okay, I would like to recognize properly the academy that is here present that was corrected as regards their name. So please put your hands together again for Stars Maritime Academy, a merchant of Navy Institute here in Otta. You're welcome. Thank you.
I would like everyone to please rise up and put our hands together as we invite our ever-smiling father, the Vice Chancellor of this great institution. Please, let's put our hands together till he comes forward. Please keep clapping, please. VC, sir. Yeah, hello, welcome, sir.
Please sit down. Please, let's be seated. Mrs. Njogu, I'm a very shy person. You made me shyer. Please permit me to stand on the already existing and well-established protocol by the Acting Dean College of Management Sciences. But specifically, let me recognize the Maritime Academy that is here. When we came in, your uniform was shining. Nobody could have overlooked you. Thank you so much for coming. Being in the force can be good. Like, we love your uniform. Somebody commented up here and said, That uniform is unique. How can we forget white? You're welcome to this occasion. And let me also recognize the young shall grow. Bells, our bells, the gentlemen and ladies in yellow, thank you for gracing this occasion. Distinguished professors who are here present and the emeritus singled out also. Thank you for being here. On behalf of the university management, staff and students of Bells, University of Technology, Ota, and with great pleasure, I welcome you all to the 11th annual college lecture of the College of Management Sciences, Faondia University, Bells University of Technology, here in Ota. For the benefit of those who are just coming into our terrain today, let me inform us that Bells University of Technology is the first private university of technology in Nigeria. It was established by the Bells Educational Foundation and obtained its license in 2005 and commenced operations immediately on 1st July 2005. So presently, we are in our 16th year of operation. And within this period, we have witnessed remarkable developments and achievements. For this, as often as we've always said, we acknowledge the vision of our founding fathers for investing in the education sector of this country. May I state that they have provided a very strong platform on which all of us here today stand to educate ourselves. I am delighted, ladies and gentlemen, once again to welcome you all to Bells University of Technology of Ota, where we run with a vision. And our vision is to be a world-renowned university that is committed to the development and transformation of society through environmental friendly technology and other innovations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's lecture titled The Challenges and Effects of Technology on Sustainable Financial Literacy in Nigeria could not have come at a more opportune time, an appropriate time than now, a time when we need to take a critical look at the realities on ground and come up with actionable recommendations for shift in paradigms on such a critical aspect as financial literacy in Nigeria. Events have taught one to always question the realities and reality of happenings as they affect us as a society. One of such is our coming out of the recession, which all indicators seemingly point to the contrary. I strongly believe that we all need this kind of refresher course, informal training on financial literacy, especially on how technology affects it. This lecture, I believe, will provide answers to these questions and more through our guest lecturer, a seasoned financial management. I wish to especially recognize and appreciate our guest lecturer of today, Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo, the Group Head, Financial Institution Unified Payment Services Limited. It is heartwarming to have you give this talk today on the technological aspect of financial literacy. It strengthens my firm belief that princesses are the solutions to whatever problems we may be facing in whatever aspect of our lives. Engineers also, I'm informed that she's an engineer. And being an engineer, She has solution to almost all problems. I observe also that you are given a title, a chieftaincy title of Adadio Ramma. And I tried to Google this through people, not through the usual Google. And I was informed that that meant that you are a palm tree. And that palm tree means that every part of you are useful for brooms, crops, rafters. Part of it is palm oil. After removing the palm oil, what in there is used for oil, fire, things. And then the coconut itself in there. The water in there is very the coconut and also the having part of it also useful for the every part of the family is useful. So other development is a palm tree. I can assure you that indeed, not only by the college, but by our university as a whole. And I can assure you that we'll be expecting the mutually beneficial your person and your organization. I mentioned that already when you made the policy code. After the fight the raging pestilence called COVID. The lockdown period was really trying on all of us, but God kept us all. We sincerely pray that His protection will continue to be strong on all of us. I'll pray for His intervention to end this siege. Let me at this juncture congratulate the College of Management Sciences for these almost week-long academic activities, which I believe is a result of careful planning and dedication. I wish to challenge you to improve on this by your next set of activities. I wish to congratulate Dean, College of Management Sciences, Dr. Bibiana Njogo, her deputy, Dr. Ajayi, the heads of departments, the professors in the college, the chairman of the planning committee for this beautiful outing. Once again, I welcome you all to Bells Tech, where only the best is good for Bells. Thank you for your attention.
Please, let's continue to clap for the VC, our ever vibrant VC. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful speech. Thank you. Next on the program is the citation of the guest lecturer. And to do this is our very own Dr. Ms. Onifade. She is actually the chairman of this great occasion. She worked tirelessly to put this program together. So she deserves more than this. Let's put our hands together for her as she does the citation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Oludele Jeremiah Ojediran, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Olubukola Kuforiji, the principal officers here present, please permit me to stand on the well-established protocols to invite our guest lecturer, Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo, while I read our citation. Please, can you stand and come forward, ma'am? Please, let's give her a round of applause. You're welcome, ma'am. Okay. our highly respected Vice Chancellor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, the 11th college lecturer is eminent personnel, who is well regarded in the corporate world because of her impactful involvement in financial management circles. She is a philanthropist who has touched many lives positively, involved in the emancipation of downtrodden in the society at large. She is no person than Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo. Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo was born on 16th January 1971 in Asaba, Oshimili South Local Government, Delta State. She attended Federal Government Girls College, Langtang, 1982 to 1988. Enugu State University of Science and Technology, Computer Science and Engineering, 1989 to 1995. Enugu State University of Science and Technology, MBA Marketing, 1998 to 2000. Lagos Business School, Senior Management Program, year 2012. Coleman University, USA, High Performance Leadership, year 2015. Lagos Business School, Advanced Management Program, year 2019. IESE Business School, Barcelona, year 2019. The Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to mention a few of the assignments entrusted into the hands of our guest lecturer today. Prior to joining Unified Payments, she worked with Admin Operations Officer, Amber Resources Nigeria Limited, 1995 to 1996, as Database Information Management Officer as Nigerian Agip Oil Company, 1996 to 1998, and also at Inland Company Computers Limited as Application Specialist, 1998 to 1999. As an astute financial management consultant with over 2 decades of experience in the industry, she has led different groups as group lead in the area of information technology, business development, e-commerce, and value-added services. She has held various leadership positions in Unified Payments over the past 20 years since 1999. She was the Senior Officer, Customer Support Unit in Unified Payments in 1999 to 2001. Acting Head of Unit Customer Service, Unified Payments, 2001, July to November. Head of Unit Customer Service, Unified Payments, November 2001 to April 2006. HOD Merchant Services, United Payments, May 2006 to December 2011. As a Group Head, Information Technology in Unified Payments, year 2012 to 2017. Group Head, E-commerce and Value-Added Services and Unified Payments, April 2017 to March 2018. Group Head, Business Development, Unified Payments, April 2018 to August 2019. And currently, she is the Group Head in the Financial Institutions Directorate of Unified Payment Services Limited, a Nigerian pioneer and leading payment services company. Furthermore, in the area of community services, she has served in many capacities. She Secretary, Confraternity of Christian Mothers, Church of Divine Mercy, Lekki, that is the women's group in charge of welfare of church and less privilege in the year 2003 to 2007. I hope we are clapping for her. Secretary, ESCA, Professional Women's Philanthropic Group, 2006 to 2010. Vice President, ESCA, Professional Women's Philanthropic Group, 2010 to 2015. President of ELCA, a Professional Women Philanthropic Group, and Secretary of the Confraternity of Christian Mothers of CDM, Lekki. However, in recognition of our community services and contribution, She was honored with titles with Odo Ziaku, a lancer of Asaba, meaning a woman that knows how to arrange wealth. I think we are clapping. Ma? And another one, Ada Diorama of Umumba Ndrono, meaning the first daughter acceptable by her people. So she's acceptable by. So Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo is married with children. And the princess is not a title, but a real princess, a daughter of an Igwe. Can we clap for her? The Vice Chancellor, sir, the college deemed it fit to invite our guest lecturer of today for this 11th college lecture. It is therefore a honor, sir, to present to you this beautiful and brainy woman. She is a woman of ingenuity, unreserved commitment to excellence in everything she does. A distinguished and successful career woman, epitome of discipline, who is always quick to return all glory to God for all her outstanding achievements in life. So the Vice Chancellor, sir, the Principal Officer, the professors here present, deans and directors, staff and students of Best University of Technology, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, shall we all rise and welcome our guest lecturer for today, Comas 11 College Lecture, titled, The Challenges and Effects of Technology on Sustainable Financial Literacy in Nigeria, in person of Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My dear Vice Chancellor, our very able and ever-smiling Vice Chancellor. Sir, please may I crave your indulgence to stand on the already established protocols by the Dean and carry on. Thank you, sir. Distinguished people, I am indeed very honored to be in your midst today. When I was called to come and deliver this lecture, I asked myself, why me? Because I do not think that I qualify to come and stand in the midst of very learned and educated people that I see here to stand and deliver a lecture. But if you consider that I should be here, please accept me for who I am and for what I am. Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad that despite what COVID tried to do last year, because this lecture was to have held last year, but COVID put up all measures, everything to ensure that it does not succeed. But to the glory of God, we are all here today and we are having this annual lecture, and we praise God for giving us the opportunity to see this day and to be seated here for this great occasion. Thank you very much. The topic of the lecture, as has been mentioned, is the challenges and effects of sustainable financial literacy in Nigeria. Okay, as an academic institute, and the one that is based on technology, we can't start talking about this without looking at some little definitions of terminologies that have been used. Technology. What is technology? Remember that this is the bedrock of the great institute in which we are in. The definition of technology, according to the source, is that it is science and knowledge that's been put into practice to use in solving problems and also to invent useful tools. In Bells, as a technology institution, there is no gainsaying the fact that this great institution of learning has churned out and will continue to churn out great individuals who will not only live the technology, but will take technology to greater heights. We talk about sustainability. To be sustainable means to continue to exist. We cannot exist today and die and we will be sustainable. We have to continue to exist. In that continuation, we are leaving legacies for the people that come after us. And there are things that people can see and be able to say, yes, this is truly the handwork of this, that, or this person, or even technology, as we say. Financial literacy, what is it about? It's the ability to be able to understand and effectively take decisions that will impact your choices in financial matters. This is not really meant for just the financial gurus, the accountants, or the people in the financial line of business. Every one of us is a financial manager in our own respect. As students, when you resume at the beginning of a term, you are very buoyant then. So you are able to live lavishly, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But probably as the term goes down, the financial capacity may have gone down. Then you now start to plot one or two things. Do I continue living on this breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or do I strategize and take other decisions to be able to sustain me while I'm still in the school? Then comes the idea of, do I do a 011, a 101, or a 110? 011 means no breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 101, breakfast, no lunch, and dinner. Or 110, I'll have breakfast and lunch, and I'll have no dinner. These are decisions that we consciously make as individuals to help to manage our finances. And there's no one that will make that decision for you, but you yourself. So this is to let you know that we are all financial managers in our different areas of life, in our everyday life. And it's important that we take control of that decision to be able to actualize the things that we need to do. Today, there are companies, technology companies that help to bring about things in a manner that we never used to know before. Things that we ordinarily would do manually, technology companies are coming out and they are beginning to change the way these things are done. These are the financial technology companies, and we call them fintechs for short. Unified Payments, the company I work with, is one of such companies. What are the problems we are looking at today? In Nigeria, we have a lot of educated people and literate ones. But it's quite, an eye-opener to know that it's not, a lot of us are not able to take charge of our financial management and taking care of our financial decisions. When you take care of your decisions you make on your financial aspects, it helps you to be able to evaluate opportunities as they present themselves, take the right decision, and act on them promptly. There is also the fear because consumers have also been impacted negatively because of the practice of financial service providers. Some of them have some sharp practices that make the consumers to stay back and like, please, I'd rather be on my own. These things are not where we want to be. We want to be financially literate. We want to be financially included. We want to be able to take decisions and be empowered to do things that will help us for the future. And of course, one of the mandates of the central bank is to ensure the promotion of sound financial system in the country. Let's look at the world globally. We know that education is a very powerful instrument. Education helps in eradicating poverty as well as promoting shared prosperity in any nation. Education and financial literacy go hand in hand. You are educated, you are able to take financial decisions on matters that are necessary. These are the things that help you to empower yourself and the people around you. Of course, there are different ways of looking at financial literacy. We look at developing world, and we also look at underdeveloped world. For the developed economies, the experts have it that financial literacy in developed world, they have a lot of financial products and services already available for them. And these financial products and services are there, and the people are just guided on how to take a decision on which product or service suits the particular need that they have at any point in time. Whereas for underdeveloped countries, we're not talking about variety of options. We're even talking of the ability to be able to adapt. Let's even have those things, access to those financial services, and then adaptation to all those. This is sadly where we find ourselves into today as a nation. But I dare to say that we will get out of this because we are seeing a positive light, especially looking at the faces of the young futures of tomorrow seated at this arena. Let's go down memory lane, looking at technology in financial literacy. In the beginning, we started with trade by barter in doing business. I have apple. I need Gary. I come to you. I request for the Gary, and I could give you apple in exchange for the Gary. That was a simple trade by barter approach. From there, we migrated to the use of cowries, to the use of copper, gold, and all that, and we came to cash. We know that cash has never really left us because our people keep saying that cash is king. Even though we are in an electronic payment age, cash has never really gone. Looking at the banking sector in the early days, from cash, yes, we moved into checks. People could issue checks to get things sorted out. But how long does it take for checks to clear? Checks took very long time to clear. So you issue a check, you're waiting for the check to clear, and time is passing by. All these were the baby steps that we had taken as a nation to get to where we are today. And from there, we moved on. Checks clearing in several days or weeks. Today, we have checks clearing faster. We can even do transfers here, and it gets to the person instantly. We can do transfers that you do today, and it gets to the person the next day. all these are advancements in technology that will help us to get to the promised land. Looking at the world of telecommunication, which we are all familiar with, NITEL came up with mobile telephony around, I think, 1998, 99, where we have the popular Not 9 knots, like my people will call it. It came in with all the expectation and the beauty, but it had its own attendant challenges. There was always, the billing process was a challenge. Network congestion was a challenge, to mention but a few. But again, in 2001, I think, the then president of Nigeria, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, introduced the GSM. The GSM came in and took over, and NITEL was no more a monopoly. The GSM transformed the way things were being done. You could call people, and then calls are terminated and stay for a longer period. And today, these same phones that we carried, which was only doing data, voice then, can now do more than voice. It can do data. And amazingly, we can also use telephone, to be able to transact. A lot of you have mobile apps from your banks. This is done on the phone. The only digital platform that we have available in Nigeria today, Pay Attitude, is also on phone. And with Pay Attitude, you're just going to pay with just your phone number. So who says we are not getting there? We are getting there. With financial literacy, it gives us easy access to goods and services. Farming in the earlier days, there was a lot of manual work to be done in farming. Use your hoe and cutlass and all that. We moved into mechanized farming, where we had tractors and co. Today, there are several equipments and machines that can be used to process goods that are produces from the farm and makes life a lot easier. The farmer today can get into the farm, cultivate products, and have those products out for sale in no distant time. Reaching people to be able to know about these products is no more news, because with the advent of technology, you are able to reach out to people that will be able to take those products from one place to the other. You can do this by telephone. You can also do this on the internet. This is the power of technology. Our people are getting highly sensitized. We are getting to know the role that technology plays. And there is no underscoring the fact that technology is indeed playing a major role in our financial space. Our commercial activities grow every day because of all this trade from one end to another. Because you have to do businesses with people from one side to the other side without any fear of how you're going to get across to the person. Technology is at work. With this, the gap that we had earlier in terms of reaching out due to communication has been breached. And today, CBN has been bringing out lots of interventions to ensure financial inclusion as well as financial literacy in the country. CBN has introduced mobile money operators. They also introduced shared agency infrastructures that ensures that the nooks and crannies of this society are reached towards the promotion of financial literacy and inclusion. And more recently, there has been also establishment of payment service banks. these payment service banks are not just traditional banks. They are banks that will move into the hinterlands and ensure that the people who have hitherto been neglected, that financial services get to them to ensure financial inclusion and financial literacy. Last year, or in 2019, the volumes of financial transactions that happened in Nigeria are all stated in the brochure, if you take a look. Amazingly, in 2020, these numbers, the volumes have doubled, and in some cases, tripled and quadrupled. What does that show? It shows that we are moving on in technology. Our people are becoming more aware, and they are embracing it to the best of our ability. We want to look at the challenges that are posed by this financial technology in the establishment of financial literacy. We mentioned earlier that we started gradually in our days on the manual platform. And really, even today that we are talking about jet age, a lot of our people are still more comfortable to deal with what they know rather than what they do not know. Some people still see technology as a myth. I don't want to go into it. Please leave me where I am. I'm very comfortable here. But if you don't dare, you will never know. I know some people today that still prefer to walk into the banking hall to consummate their transactions. I want to do a transfer. I'll go into the banking hall and issue the instructions and all. But with technology, you don't have to do that anymore. You can stay at the confines of your home and issue an instruction that the other person will receive at the other end. That is the power of technology. I know that there are fears, risk concerns about man-in-the-middle attack. Oh, if I do this on the internet, if I use my phone, somebody may intercept it and all that. Reasonably, those fears are very reasonable. But these things are not being done without checks. To be able to consummate financial transactions over the web, there are also certain factors that have been taken into consideration to ensure the safety and security of transactions. You talk about personal identification number. You talk about password. And then you even talk about OTP, a one-time password that you can be given to be able to conclude a transaction. And after that, that password is gone, and you have to request for a new one for another transaction. One of the other challenges, again, besides this fear and the legacy attitude, is poor infrastructure. In the rural areas today, the infrastructure is not yet where we expect it to be. Poor telecommunication, we are still plagued with poor telecommunication. And it makes it difficult for transactions to be consummated efficiently and as effectively as we would want it to be. This makes the pace in adapting to financial literacy very slow. But again, the CBN will also have a lot of work to do here because they need to ensure that every player in the ecosystem is well educated and carried along to know their rights and their responsibilities in starting and ending any financial transaction so that people find comfort in establishing these transactions. If, as a consumer, I carry out a transaction and something happens and no one cares, tomorrow I'll be lethargic about going into that kind of transaction. But if consumers are protected and there are rights and responsibilities, even the service providers also know where their bounds are and their duty to the consumers. It makes it a very palatable ecosystem where everyone can coexist, and then services are offered and received without reservation. Let's look at the benefits. The benefits of a financially literate Nigeria. What will I benefit as a financially literate person in this economy? Like we said, empowerment. It empowers me to be able to make financial decisions and to make choices that can help me in my decisions. When someone is empowered and has knowledge, the person takes decisions differently from one who does not have knowledge. That helps to reduce the risk of exposure, so that in even scoring anyone for credit, the credit scoring will be a lot better because you're better positioned to know the risk associated with what you're doing. You're carrying out your transactions the way it ought to be. And then when you're being scored, you're scored effectively, not out of ignorance. A financially literate Nigeria will help to constitute a sustainable market for goods and services for everything that we do. If a financial service provider is providing services and the services are shabby, without being financially literate, without knowing my rights and my responsibilities, I'm not able to challenge the status quo. I'll take in anything that I'm given. And as they give it out to me, I take it and I'm glad. But when we're financially literate, we're able to challenge it and say, no, the other service provider is giving the customers this. I demand this from you as my service provider. It puts service providers on their toes, and it provides a very enabling ground for constructive criticism and competition. When we compete positively, the economy grows. We are better off for it. Because the consumers bring in their challenges. They throw it at you as the service provider, and you go back to the drawing board. When you go back to the drawing board, you come out better than what you had. And that is why today, the consumer is king. Because the consumer is the one that takes decisions of what happens. So you cannot be a consumer, you cannot be laid back. Every decision you make today, all services that you are being provided, the way you take it or do not take it lies with you. You should stand up for your rights, being a financially literate population, and ensure that where you do not get service, you demand service. And where you get service, you appreciate service. If Nigeria continues on the path of ensuring that service is demanded and delivered, of course, it helps in the economic development of the country, and the poverty situation that we are in is alleviated. People know what they need to do, and they go about doing it. How can we say then that technology has contributed in sustaining financial literacy in Nigeria? Let's look at economic growth. We've talked about farming, from manual to mechanized and to the computerized kind of farming we have today. And we know that Ogun State is a very strong state in terms of farming. How do you ensure the economic growth of financial literacy? By ensuring that all these things are taken down to the grassroots. Thank you. By ensuring that the financial literacy is taken down to the grassroots, and that people in the grassroots are exposed to financial Thank you. Are exposed to financial services that they can have access to. Let's look at social development, how this contributes. People have access to various funds. People have access to various services. And in having access to all this, it gives you the opportunity to be able to evaluate your choices, make decisions, and then take the next step. We can never underscore the importance of financial literacy in our economy. Again, we look at convergence. In the financial services sector today, a lot of convergence is being looked at. Earlier, when we started the electronic payments service, CBN had come out to say there has to be interoperability. We need to ensure that all schemes work together. And let me step back a bit. We started with cash before we migrated into electronic payments. I recall in my days of marketing, people that will accept point of sale terminal as a means of payment. I went into a man's shop one day to market him to accept POS. He asked me, "What did you say this terminal will do?" I said, "This terminal will help you to collect payments from your customers, and you don't need to be carrying cash anymore. It provides security so that even if an armed robber comes into your shop and is looking for something to steal, the person cannot steal anything, because if the person carries the POS, it's just an equipment that the person has carried. Your money is resting securely in your bank." And the man looked at me and said, "Nah, just leave this thing for now. You see this naira that I'm counting, it gives me joy." As I'm counting this naira, I have so much satisfaction that I'm seeing the money. All this money you're talking about is invisible money, and the money comes and goes. How do I know that I've made money? That was years back. But I'm happy that today, POS has come to stay. Before now, we have several schemes. We have Pay Attitude as a scheme. We have American Express. We have Visa. We have MasterCard. We have China Union Pay. We have Verve. All these schemes, all service providers will come, provide their own service on their POS terminal and move. So you can imagine a merchant, somebody that accepts card as a means of payment or electronic payment. Inside the person's shop, the person has 5 terminals, a small shop. This terminal will accept only payments for Visa. This one is for MasterCard. This one is for Pay Attitude. It doesn't work. At the end of the day, not only is the merchant's place littered, we are wasting infrastructure. Because why can't all those payments be made on one terminal? Those 5 terminals can be distributed to 5 different outlets. And then each person can accept all the various means of payment on one terminal. That is where we are today. That is the power of technology. And that is the advantage of having you and I being financially included and financially literate. Convergence, interoperability. So you don't have anybody standing as a loner and doing things the way they want. Convenience is another thing. I want to do a transfer. I don't need to walk to my bank. I stay here. I transfer money to you. While both of us are even talking, I can stay right here, bring out my phone. You give me your details. I transfer money to you. These are things that we never used to do before now. This is the power of technology. And we know that this has come to stay. I can buy on the web and make payments conveniently from the confines of my home. I can send someone to the ATM to go and draw cash, but I don't need to give that person my my card. Neither do I need to give the person my PIN because I'm divulging my security. Your PIN, the full meaning of PIN is personal identification number. It's personal, it's not a universal identification number. It's personal to you and to only you. So please stop sending people to go and draw money from you from the ATM and giving them your PIN. You give the person your PIN today, tomorrow, are you going to change it before you give it to the next person? We need to embrace technology and move on. Today, there are solutions that will help you in dealing with that. I can send you to the ATM to collect money for me. The only thing you need to do at the ATM is just to put my phone number. The phone number is the easiest thing that you should know. You don't even need to know my account number. You don't need to know any other thing. Just put my phone number and the request will come to me. When the request comes to me, because I'm the one that sent you, I already told you, yes, go and draw 10,000 naira. It comes to me, I'll see that GT is at ATM A, requesting me to approve a 10,000 naira transaction. I will approve it immediately, right on my phone. And immediately I approve, the cash is dispensed. Why is technology not amazing? Why would we not embrace technology? So I challenge you as students of a technology school to please explore frontiers. Look at all these new payment technologies that are coming into existence. Look at convenience, look at safety, look at security, and ensure that in taking your decision, you take your decision as a financially literate person. We look at risk management, which I had mentioned earlier. In doing transactions today, you have your password, you have your PIN. Even on the internet, you have a second factor authentication. You have OTPs, one-time password that you generate, use them to do transaction, and then those passwords are expired and you drop them. Because as you are working to make things better, on the positive side, there are also some of our great brothers and sisters who are on the other side, doing everything possible to make sure that they defeat us. But we cannot be deterred by the fact that some people are thinking on the negative side. We have to stand firm and show them that, yes, you may be coming from the negative side. I am coming from the positive side, and I will overcome you, and I will put you to a challenge, and I will win that challenge. So you have to, we come out with things that you can use to protect those transactions. And that is why the CBN and the financial services sector ensure that the consumers are protected with so many practices that will ensure safety of transactions and boost confidence in the financial services sector. We talk about ease of payment. Today we have internet banking, we have mobile banking, we have USSD, we have QR code as a means of payment. And again, I will always say we have pay with phone number, to mention but a few. Several easy and efficient means of payment. Why would we be left behind? With all this advancement in technology, it makes services easier and more efficient. You are able to start and conclude transactions in a few minutes, few seconds, rather than the long time it takes you to consummate one transaction by taking a ride to the banking hall and waiting until it's your turn. And you people will not understand, but in the earlier days, the days of tally number, you go to a bank to collect money. You're given something called a tally number. That number shows how you came. I'm sure the older ones here will appreciate what I'm talking about. but you may not understand this. So let me explain to you so that you know that your world is a changing world and you need to really embrace it. You go into the banking hall, you're issued cards. Sometimes they even use cardboard to write the numbers and give to you. And you take that number, you go and sit down. If you don't have anything else to do for that day, you can sit in the banking hall and wait for your turn. But if you have something else to do, you can go and do what you have to do and still come back and it's still not your turn. It was a very harrowing experience. But today, you walk into a banking hall, though you may still be delayed because of the queue in the banking hall, you're able to consummate transactions faster. So again, why walk into the banking hall? Why can't you just sit here and do all you have to do? Is it transfer? Is it to make payments for anything that you want to buy online? What is it that you want to do today that you cannot do sitting where you are? I doubt there is. With this, our country is growing, our economy is growing, and all the different operators that we have today are also growing with the system. Moving forward. Next slide, please. How do we achieve this? Where do we go in this sustainable financial literacy? We need to collaborate. We need to collaborate. I said earlier that we started with providing services in silos. But we saw that providing services in silos couldn't take us to the next level. Then collaboration came to play. And with collaboration, life has been made a lot easier. Rules and regulations are made to guide people and to ensure that processes are lean. Where there are rules and there are regulations, people are guided and they know their rights, their responsibilities, and know that they have a fiduciary duty to be able to discharge certain duties to the other person, and that where you fail to discharge such duties, that person has a right to stand up and say, I do not accept this service. Today, you cannot have a bank that does not give you the services you want, and you still remain with that bank because you love the bank. It's not for the love of the bank. It's for the love of the service you are being given, the service you are receiving, how you are being treated as a valued and special customer of that bank. Bank A offers me, I bank with Bank A, and they don't charge me COT. When Bank B comes to market me, and they put all the beautiful things on board, I ask them, so what about COT? And they tell me, oh, it's 5 per mil. Sorry, to get me to your side, you need to offer me 0 COT and more. So Bank B is struggling. Oh, what can I do for this customer? If you're not offering something that Bank A is offering, rather than compete on price, what are the other salient and attractive services that you're going to offer to ensure that your customer is retained? This is because as customers, we are financially literate. We are aware. We know what is happening, and we cannot be bamboozled. Consumer education is very key. So the CBN and other relevant bodies try to organize consumer interactions from time to time to ensure that our consumers are better educated on how to take financial decisions. As a financially literate person or a financially literate economy, we are guaranteed easy, faster, and more efficient access to funds and access to services. That way, we are better off as a country because as we grow as individuals, the country grows, there's sustainability, and then the indices are indicative of the performance of the people. what do we see in this consumer education? In consumer education, you have to educate the men and the women. You have to educate the students, primary, secondary, tertiary, all levels, the artisans, the farmers. Everybody has to be educated and be financially empowered to be able to take decisions. The future of payments, we look, where are we going today? Because the world of payments is an ever-evolving one. And we know that technology has come to stay. To be able to go further in the future of payments, next slide, please. We look at some aspects. A friend of mine, as we were having a discussion, told me a story which I would like to share with you. She told me a story about a farmer in his large farm. In this farm, the farmer has the wife, the children, and all sorts of farm animals. While in the farm, the farmer set up a trap. This trap was, of course, we know trap. The trap is to get something. As the farmer set up a trap, one of the farm animals became worried. And precisely a rat, because the rat is always the one that will get worried once a trap is set. The rat ran to the other animals and said, wow, the farmer has set up a trap. What do we do? Let's strategize and find a way around it. The other animals looked at him and said, oh boy, what's your problem? What's my business with a trap? You go sort yourself out. You're the one that the trap will catch anyway. The rat ran to the chicken, to the goat, to the pig, to the cow. Everyone shunned him. And the poor rat went like a defeated and a wounded lion and went to hide himself somewhere. Unplanned, a snake was passing by the trap, and the trap caught the snake. Because the trap was set to catch something. And he caught a snake, so the trap has done its job. And being that it was dark, the farmer's wife came into the room, to the place, to come and collect something. While the snake was being struck, the snake bit her. And in that bit, she was running temperature and all that, and they need to make pepper soup for her. The first culprit was my darling chicken. Chicken was used to make the first pepper soup. The woman took the pepper soup and all that, but this wasn't still getting better. We need to care for the farmer's wife. We went for the goat. Because goat is very bony. It didn't take time. That one finished. Well, at the end of the day, after managing everything, the farmer's wife died. Very unfortunate. And the burial had to be arranged for her. And to be able to ensure that all the guests were entertained, the cow had to be killed. So in killing the cow, the rat was still in the corner because nobody will eat rat pepper soup. The rat was still in the corner, still trying to think of how to surmount that trap. Meanwhile, all the other giants that thought that they were too much were the ones that paid the price. What does this tell us? Collaboration is key. You cannot exist in isolation. If all the animals had come together to strategize, put heads together to say, oh, because this trap is here, let's devise a way. Let's avoid that place. In avoiding, let's go through the other way. My MD always says, when you have a problem, stop hitting your head against a wall. Fine, move, check, go through the other side. You cannot stay in one place and be hitting your head against the wall. And he will tell you that rather than reading the book of Lamentations and be lamenting every day for something that was not done right, why don't you get up and make a change? Do something right. So because they never thought of collaboration, they all went down the drain. What does that suggest to us? In the payments industry today, there are big giants, we know. But do not take for granted that you're a big giant and neglect the little ones coming behind. You see all these fintech companies, and I see a lot of brilliant faces in this room, that you people are the leaders of tomorrow. And a lot of you I know are already into fintech, because looking at you, see so many of you on the phone. That is your world. You are coming up with great ideas and things. As you're sitting here, you're already checking one site or the other. You're discovering one thing. And you come up with an idea tomorrow and somebody shuns you down. Small boy, please go to the corner. We, the giants, are talking. It doesn't work that way. If these giants don't step back and look at these small ones that are coming up and ensure that we are all brought together, ensure inclusion, then I'm sorry, the giants may end up getting extinct. It's not about your size yesterday. It's about what you do today that takes you to where you're going to be tomorrow. There are lots of disruptive technologies available today. Disruptive, very, very disruptive. You have, I keep talking about pay with phone because I'll talk about the one that I know very well. Pay with phone is a disruptive technology. Never in the history of Nigeria have we done payments with just phone number. It's a disruptive technology. So if I need to make payments and I'm making payments with just my phone number, that is it. There is WhatsApp Pay and several other means of payment. Artificial intelligence is coming and changing the way a lot of things are being done. Mobile payments, we all know about it. You do mobile payments with your mobile and transactions are consummated. We now look at things on digital currency. That is one of the in things now. You look at digital currency, some people are delving into Bitcoins, cryptocurrency, and all that. I'm not going to make this lecture about going into breaking down digital currency because I'm not going to bore you with it. I know you're all technology people and you can read a lot more about it. However, digital transactions is where the world is going to. Initially, the central banks were worried about all these currencies, crypto and all that, but there is a major difference between crypto and the new digital currencies that the central banks all over the world are looking at now, called the central bank digital currencies. These central bank digital currencies come in forms of digital finances. The traditional legal tender we have today are called fiat currencies. These digital currencies are the digital form of these fiat currencies. And they ensure that your monies are kept in a digital form. You want to send money from Nigeria to the UK today, you have a lot of intermediaries. You're going to send it from one bank to another intermediary bank. You need to provide source code. You need to provide SWIFT number and all that. But with the digital currency, it ensures a centralized means of doing transactions so that you can start here, initiate that transaction, and it gets to the next person, just like normal transfers that we do. The internet, of course, says that 56 out of 65 countries are already looking at this digital currency and how to play in it. In that way, it no more becomes a threat to the central bank, because while the crypto that we have today is a decentralized form of digital currency, it's not backed up by securities, or not that I'm aware of, but the digital currency that will be issued by the central bank will be a centralized one. It will be backed up by the central bank, and so you know that anything you're doing will be within the confines of the central bank. Suffice it to say that people have made money with Bitcoins. And some people tell you, no, I made money in cryptocurrency. It's fine. But you know that there are always ups and downs in every business. That you made money in it doesn't make it excellent. And I'm not here to stand and start saying it's very good or it's very bad. But I know that in life, you take risks. In every business, there are risks. How is your appetite for risk? Your appetite for risk determines how you want to take risk and to what level you want to go to. As these things happen and we become more financially literate, our lifestyle is changed. We are beginning to demand for service. You know that before now, it will be difficult for you to challenge your bank on things that you need and services that you desire. But no matter who you are, and then you're being treated like, okay, if you're not the one that has the greatest amount of money in the banking system, you're not going to be given respect. But nobody takes anyone for granted again because of technology. Because those of you here are the ones that even embrace this technology more than anyone. And before anyone can say Jack Robinson, you're already on the social media. You're tweeting, you're posting. Oh, I went to this bank today, this is what they did. They didn't do this right, that didn't happen well. And nobody wants a bad name. Because of that, financial service providers are seeking for ways to continue to improve on what they do every day, to ensure that the services they are providing to you as the consumer are top-notch, and that you continue to come back. Because the greatest thing that a service provider wants is that you enjoy service today and you go out and tell the other person, go to this service provider, they do well. Every service provider thrives better on word of mouth, rather than saying things that you're not able to do. You are able to show that you live by your word. And when your customers attest to what you are doing, there can be no better judgment of your testimony. So as we move on, we are better prepared. We are better adjusted. And life is made a lot easier, given where we are coming from. You know that you can never really start and end any discussion these days without talking about the big elephant in the room, COVID-19. COVID came. You know, when AIDS came, it was as if it was an African disease. Oh, let them worry. We had so many other, Ebola came and all that, though it came from there and came here, and it was busy killing us. And how Dr. Adadevo of blessed memory saved a lot of us. When COVID came, COVID did not respect anyone, any nationality. All the giants were brought down. Economies were crippled. Nobody could do anything. Nothing was moving. COVID brought all of us and our lives to a standstill. We lost a lot of friends, family members, close associates, customers, and all that. All to this pandemic. Again, on the flip side, what has COVID, the impact of COVID, what has it been on financial literacy, on technology in Nigeria? I told you the story of how I started my sales in my younger days as a salesperson, selling POS, and I was told it wouldn't work. Banks started putting up ATMs. to encourage their customers to decongest the banking hall so that customers can go and use ATMs and everybody does not have to come and queue in the banking hall. That still did not achieve the desired purpose because some people felt that except I enter inside that bank, the transaction is not yet a financial transaction. All these things happen, but with COVID, there was a dramatic turn. During the COVID days, supermarkets, because then, if you could all remember, we used to shop like refugees, people that were about to run away. They opened the window and say, everybody go and shop now because for the next 2 weeks, people will not go out. We will all flood the stores. And as you're in the stores, nobody in the store is happy to receive your cash. If I had seen that man that I went to market then, I would have asked him, Oga, how far with the cash? Because I'm sure he would not have been happy receiving that cash. With COVID, people took a conscious decision. It was no longer do this or do that. There was a conscious decision not to accept cash because of fear of transmitting the virus. So people resorted to using their POS. Companies dusted out their POS terminals and brought them out. POS terminals became widely accepted, and people were using transfers as a means of payment. All these are the other sides of the impact of COVID-19. Before, gatherings were always physical. Meetings were always physical. As a marketer, you don't stay in your office and be calling a customer. Oh, I want to market, I want to sell this, my product to you. The person will think you're not a serious person. But with COVID, nobody even wants to see you. Don't worry, we can have a telephone discussion. Let's connect on Zoom. Let's do it on Skype. Let's do it on Microsoft's, Teams. If you recall, when this started in the initial time, calls were failing. You start meetings, you start having intermittent breakdowns because the world was not prepared for it. You're on a call on Zoom, on Teams, or anything, the calls will be breaking. The providers of those platforms didn't expect that mad rush into the platform, and it had its own challenges then. But over time, they went back to the drawing board, and then they strategized. And they came back, and today, almost 90% of meetings today are done online, thanks to COVID. This is the power of technology. A lot of banks had to close branches. A lot of offices had to close up shop because they discovered that with COVID, people could work from home and still achieve the same level of efficiency. So why do we need to rent brick and mortar buildings? Why do we need to pay so much rent? Okay, stay at home and be working. But there has to be a way of ensuring that we track what the person is doing. So that people don't tell you that they are working and they are in Balogun market shopping. And at the end of the day, they'll collect their salaries. So you find that the banking halls became decongested on its own. POS terminals were being used without any force. Mobile payments, pay with phone, all these things were being done without necessarily have to push anyone. Why did we take these decisions? Because we are financially literate. And then the CBN now comes up with other avenues to ensure that even people in the rural areas, areas that otherwise do not have banking facilities, are included so that they are not left behind. Then the agency started booming. You could hardly find any area of Nigeria today that you wouldn't have an agent that provides services like money transfer, airtime, bills payments, and all that. These are all part of what technology and financial literacy exposes us to. To talk about technology and financial literacy, we could go on and on. But permit me to land it here by saying, technology has come to stay. Financial inclusion and financial literacy is the in thing. We all have to embrace it. The use of artificial intelligence has changed the way we do a lot of things. Today, with Google Map, you can get up and go to anywhere that you don't know about, just by putting the address on the map, and the map will take you there. There is another technology called Siri that you can talk to and say, Siri, put on my light, your light is put on. Increase the volume increases. Do this, that is done. All these are part of the things that technology has come to bring to us. You can open rooms by ordinary facial recognition and use thumbprints. Several ways of ensuring that your digital identity is used in giving you access to financial transactions. All this will bring us to convergence. And if we do not converge, we are not there yet. And convergence is the way that we can all get to where we want to be by ensuring that we share infrastructure and then services are better provided. There is a talk today on open banking that is going around. All the financial services providers are talking about open banking. What is open banking? It doesn't mean that you're selling the data of your customers to everybody in the world. No, but there are data that is made available so that you are studying people's lifestyle and their spending patterns. You know today that Vivian likes to shop in this place, and these are the kind of things she likes to buy. With that study, people that provide that kind of service are able to go and market her. With that centralized database where there is an open source of data, where people can go and fetch data for analytics that will help in making decisions, it's easier and more accessible to provide services having gotten all the data in a database, rather than every man sourcing for the same data on his own. It does not provide for efficiency. Customers will continue to demand for their rights. And as a customer, I urge you to please continue to demand for your rights. Speak up where you feel that services are not being provided as you want. Do not be shy, because you'll be listened to. Not only will you be listened to, you are adding value to the ecosystem, because that idea that you have brought will help to go and transform the way things are currently being done to a better way of doing things for tomorrow. It is only those who embrace technology that will remain relevant in today's world and in the future. Bells University, please do not be left behind. Bells Tech. Bells Tech. Thank you for having me.
Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Thank you very much, Ma. What a wonderful lecture that has been well delivered. Please, a round of applause for her once again. Thank you very much, Ma. Okay, I'm sure we have learned, I don't want to say one or two and many more things from all that she has said. I'm very sure of that. So without wasting time, it's question and answers session. So students, staff, invited guests, as many as we have, please, if you have questions, just raise your hand. A mic is available. It will, okay, I can see a hand up already. So if you have questions, please, we're working with time, so please, but make sure you ask something reasonable that we can all learn from. And our guest lecturer is sure here to provide answers to all our questions. So please, we'll take all the questions before she gives her responses. So if you have questions, just raise your hand so that the microphone can come to you. Thank you.
Good day, Ma. Standing on the existing protocol.
We can't hear you.
Good day, Ma. And standing on the existing protocol, my name is Pisola Nwadju from the Bell Secondary School. I would like to ask, based on technology, the rate at which technology has been increasing these days is quite, I don't want to say impossible, because how can we moderate technology so that it won't just eradicate the labor force in Nigeria? Many people are out there, they don't have jobs and everything. So how can we moderate technology to be able to not eradicate these people and leave them doing or wandering about in the society? Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Her question is, how can we moderate technology so as not to eradicate the labor force? Any other question? Students, Bellstech students, please. Staff members, if you have any questions, please, let's take all the questions. Okay, Ma. Behind you.
Thank you very much. I want to stand on the existing protocols. I want to say a big thank you to the guest lecturer for a very well delivered lecture. I got very interested when you talked about the pain with the phone number only, because there's been a rise in students giving out their ATM cards to friends to help them purchase food, stuff. And then after that, they start getting unauthorized debits from their bank accounts. And it's not really a question. I'm glad the students are here. I'm sure they will be interested in this aspect of your lecture. They will want to key into it. How can they authorize payments without physically divulging their PIN numbers? Thank you very much for your lecture.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, I can see a hand.
Good afternoon, standing on the existing protocol. My name is Dogushe Abiodun, 400 level accounting student. The guest lecturer made mention of security of everyone making use of the financial internet, financial services. And what I would say is, how can the interest of every consumer be protected when a transaction is occurred, and there won't be the need for fear in those actually having the transaction? Because like 2 months ago, I purchased something from, I purchased cryptocurrency from a guy worth 25,000 naira, and the guy did not deliver as promised. So I went to the bank to lodge complaints, and they told me to get a court order. So I went to court to get a court order, and I was told by the lawyer that I have to pay 15,000 naira to get court order before they can process it. So I just have to accept fate that my 25,000 naira is gone. So in cases like that, what can we do?
Thank you. Any more questions?
Sorry, there's somebody at the back.
Okay. We're coming to you, sir. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Ali Damola. Standing on the existing protocols, I wanted to ask, how do we manage the data footprints of customers, of users of technology, so as to mitigate or avoid the kind of issues we had with Cambridge Analytica in US, especially in Africa, where nobody just cares, and our population is large. There's data footprints everywhere, and nobody's protecting that data or managing the kind of issues that arose from Cambridge Analytica.
Okay. We have two hands in front here. You can, Professor Kombi. Oh, okay. Sorry, the guest lecturer didn't get his question. Mr. Damola, please just summarize. She didn't get the question.
Mr. Damola, please.
Mr. Damola.
Can you summarize your question?
There are data footprints everywhere because everybody's not sharing their data without caution. Now, my question is, how do we manage this data? Especially, how do we manage it to avoid the kind of issues that came up with Cambridge Analytica, where data footprints were used to manipulate elections of countries around the world?
Okay, let's have Professor Kombi.
Okay. I'm with you, sir.
Good afternoon, guest speaker, and I'm back to stand on the existing protocol. Now, some of these new financial technologies, the problem seems to be lack of adequate knowledge. Sometimes last year, I got a card, Revolut card, which is supposed to allow me to shop anywhere in the world, that I could collect money in the local currency. But I got to Nigeria and tried this Revolut card, and I saw that the rate I got was far below what I could have got in the bank or the parallel market. Now, how do we access adequate information about this kind of technology so that we just don't dabble to them, and at the end of the day, I mean, you can't get a refund and all that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Any other person? Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Standing on the existing protocol. It is an established fact that the technology has come to ease financial transactions. There are still some lapses or lacuna in the pipeline, especially you visit POS stand. They set your, what do you call it, ATM card. They will debit your account, cash none, paid out. When you go back to them, they will tell you, please, it will be revised. 2 hours time, 3 hours time. That may stay for a week. They will refer you to the bank. When you get to the bank will refer you to them. I have a case at hand. One of my students went to a POS stand to withdraw 30,000 naira. Up to now, nothing has been done. So what is the factor hindering this? Or how do we solve this kind of problem? God bless you.
Do you have any more questions? Okay, I think we can have responses.
Okay, let me attempt to answer some of the questions. The first speaker was asking questions on how to moderate technology so it does not eradicate the labor force. Okay, technology, like we said, is something that helps us to get better. You know, and in every aspect of our life, we've seen how we have grown from the manual ways of doing things to the ways that we are doing it today. Technology is not meant to eradicate our people from doing jobs. It rather will create jobs for the people. If we were tilling the ground today to be able to farm, and with technology, we are using mechanized farming. It means that when that machine does the tilling and does the work, there is a lot more output, because when we are few doing it, we can only produce the little commensurate to our numbers. Well, with technology, we're able to achieve more. And when we achieve more, there is a lot more for people to take in and a lot more opportunities for us to be able to participate in. So technology is not coming to take the place of what we should be doing, but it's coming to help us to enhance how we do what we do, to make sure that we do it in a way that is easier, more convenient, and more efficient for us. Ma'am, you talked about pay with phone number, how it works, and how some of your students have had some negative experiences. Indeed, I had mentioned that it's not safe to give out your PIN to anyone. That word PIN is supposed to be personal to you. You don't share it with anyone. And truly, if you've given someone your PIN and the person used it today and it worked, tomorrow, even without you being there, the person can still use the PIN. Because there are transactions that are card present and there are transactions that are card not present transactions. So anybody that has handled your card and your PIN before, it doesn't matter if you keep the card. An intelligent person can handle your card and your PIN, even with your card in your pocket, as long as the person already has your PIN. So there are basic numbers that the person needs to look out for when you hand the card. And once the person has gotten hold of those numbers, you can even lock it in the safe. The person, you'll be receiving an alert, and you will know who it is, because it's your PIN and transactions are going on. So I really encourage the students in this kind of environment, please embrace the pay with phone technology. It will help you, even if it's that other student that you're owing that student and you need to pay him. And currently you're very busy and unable to leave what you're doing. The person can go to the ATM and collect that money by just using your phone number. Of course, you will all be, the Pay Attitude team are here, and immediately after this lecture, they will be meeting with you to take you through on how to enroll. There are just 3 quick steps on enrolling. The person goes to the ATM, the normal way you go to an ATM and select, this is the amount, this is the person will ask you, what is the account you want to use? His phone number, from Pay Attitude, you put phone number. Once the phone number is imputed, it comes to you. On your handheld, you're seeing it. You put your PIN. Only you know the PIN. The equipment you're using to put the PIN is your own. So you're not putting it on the ATM. You're not even putting it on the POS or anywhere or even on the web. You're putting it on your own device. And who else can you trust better than yourself? So I'll encourage the students to give it a trial and then see how that helps in solving this problem. There was a question on security in financial services. How can consumers be protected from the fear of all that is happening around? I mentioned the aspect of consumer protection policies that the CBN is putting down to help consumers, to protect the rights of consumers. In managing disputes, this will also go with the person that has done transaction and never got his money back. There are ways and avenues to manage disputes. And when I say dispute, in the financial world, we call it dispute. It doesn't mean that you're quarreling with somebody. We call it financial disputes. I have done a transaction, money was deducted from my account and I did not get service. And I need to raise a dispute against the service provider because I either need service or my money back. So in doing this, every consumer needs to know the rights I have as a consumer when such things occur. And that is why this consumer literacy, consumer education is very important. Everyone has the right to know how to handle transactions that have failed and that you're not getting service for. In a normal financial sector today, you have to report it to your bank. You go back to your issuing bank. I did this transaction at this point. I didn't get service. And moreover, please, if it's a physical environment that you were, where you did the transaction and your money was debited and you weren't given value, maybe the customer is saying, I didn't get the value, so I can't allow you to part with goods. Please ensure that if there is any receipt that is printed out, that you have it, because that will be an evidence for you to be able to present to your bank when you're making that complaint. Where there are no receipts, then you need to know the time of transaction. And of course, the details of the transaction will help in presenting it to your bank. Your bank is the one. That is why they are your bankers. They don't bank you just to collect your money. They bank you to collect your money and to provide you services. So when you have a dispute on any transaction that has been done and not done to your satisfaction that you get service, you need to report it to your issuing bank, because the issuing banks are the banks that have given you that payment instrument as a means of payment. And they are telling you, go out and use this payment instrument. And if you have any issues, come back to me. So as a consumer, you have the right to be able to go to that institute and demand for service. That's your issuing bank will now get in touch with the bank of the service provider in the dispute chain to tell the bank of the service provider, my customer was at your customer's place. His account was debited and he didn't receive service. So between the two banks, there is a platform for managing these disputes, and they will have to get it resolved. So that is it on dispute resolution and customer and consumer protection in managing such disputes. For digital footprints of users and data protection, yes, there are digital footprints everywhere you go today because of technology. And as you leave those footprints, it's important that the environment where you are getting into is also secure. Don't just do transactions for the sake of doing it. Somebody will just invite you, oh, this is the one running now. Just do this one and you get this amount of money. Our people are very gullible. And in an attempt to do one to get 5, they are enticing you and leading you further and further into places that you ordinarily not want to go. Be vigilant. Watch areas that you go to do financial transactions, digital or otherwise. Ensure that you're not being asked for information that you're not expected to disclose ordinarily. It's just like you get an email supposedly from your bank. When I say supposedly, it means in quotes. Your fake bank sends you an email and says, we are trying to do something on your account. Please send me your account number and your PIN and your this. Or one silly person calls you on the phone. Oh, I'm calling from the customer care service of bank XYZ. We noticed that your account has not been operational, or your account has been having some problems, and we need to rectify it. And if you don't do this within the next 24 hours, your account is going to be blocked. To hell with the person. Your bank can never call you and be telling you those jargon. Never. And if you see, your bank will always send you messages and say, please do not give out sensitive information to people who mask under the guise of financial service providers, asking you for information that are personal to you. If you need to get anything dealt with, go to your bank. You have a personal relationship officer. Deal with him. Do not respond to anything or anyone you see in matters of finance, because those footprints are captured, and that is how they follow you around wherever you are, because there are syndicates everywhere. So consumer data protection will always protect the consumers, and consumers need to protect themselves from themselves. There's something on, okay, lack of access to technology with respect to, okay, to charges. Lack of adequate knowledge in terms of charges. Someone had a card that the charges are different from one place to another. Okay, when you get a payment instrument, who is issuing you that payment instrument? If it's your bank, please get all the details from your bank. Try to understand the do's and don'ts, because normally when a bank is giving you something, they will normally give you a documentation to help explain to you, this is how this works. If you have any problem, this is our customer care service, and this is what you need to do and what you need to do. Don't just collect things from people off the fly and then start putting sensitive data into it. Make sure there is a backing. You can also use what references to find out. This is a kind of technology I'm seeing. Has it been tried? You know, it's a digital world. There is nothing that is hidden now. Any question that you need answer to, Google it. On social media, by the time you put down 1 or 2 questions, people are already coming back to you with feedback. So nothing is hidden anymore. So do not live in the world that precludes you from having access to the wealth of knowledge that is available in the ecosystem. I think I've answered the questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very brilliant answers. We are sure blessed to have you in our midst this afternoon. I don't know, we have some people online. I don't know if there are questions from them. Hello?
Our online viewers.
Yes. Do we have questions from them, please?
Yeah, one of the questions is that the transaction with your phone number, does it work on all ATM machines, or is it just some specific ones?
The transaction with phone number on ATMs, it works on majority of the ATMs today. If there are, I think like 90% of the ATMs in Nigeria have the pay with phone number facility on their, of the banks have this pay with phone number facility on their ATM. Because it's a new technology and growing fast at it, a lot of banks have imbibed it. So their ATMs and most of the banks too are also using their USSD. The USSD of the banks and their mobile banking platform are also avenues of accessing payments with phone number. So some individuals will prefer to work with their banks because their banks are the trusted entities to them rather than work with any other service provider. So there are banks, the Pay Attitude team will please provide us with information on that. The banks where all these things can be made available either on the ATM and even using the USSD channels or mobile banking application of the relevant banks, partner banks to Pay Attitude. Thank you.
I think she wants to throw more light on that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Onajiti Rega. So talking about the Pay Attitude, you will see we are all here with our T-shirts. So you can meet us for more information on how to onboard and how to use a pay with phone number. But today, all the major banks have Pay Attitude on their ATM machines. I think the only major bank you may not see Pay Attitude today is Guarantee Trust Bank. We're working with them. I think Guarantee Trust Bank or Wema Bank, but for Access, Zenith, UBA, First Bank, all those banks have Pay Attitude on them. But it's just like any payment scheme, before you will be able to use it on the ATM, you have to belong to the scheme. What am I talking about? You cannot just go to your house and cut a plastic card and go and withdraw money with plastic card. Your bank has to give you either a Visa card or a MasterCard. In the same way, Pay Attitude has to enable your phone number. So when Pay Attitude enables that phone number, you can go to any ATM. We are working with all the major agents now, and it works exactly the way your cards work. But in this case, you don't have to carry a plastic card, just your phone number. And like my colleague said earlier, your phone number is something you can share easily. If I meet you today the first time, I could just ask you, please, what's your number? You will give it to me. if we are friends, okay? Once I just say, hi, hello, I would like to talk to you later. What's your number? You give it to me. So it's the same thing with the peer attitude. You have your number. It's something you are free to give out on a normal day. So you give it out to anybody, but you are the one that will authorize the transaction. So somebody, as I'm here, my maid can go to the supermarket, pick what she wants to pick, enter my phone number, I take my phone, I authorize it sitting here. And if I look at it and say, who asked her to go to the supermarket, I will decline it. So the authority is with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, the time is now well spent. We are going to the next on the agenda, which is presentation of plug and gifts for our very own mommy in the house. Okay.
Okay, so the next on the agenda now is presentation of plaque and gifts. And we have a few categories of people that are going to be presented this award. So we're going to start with the presentation of gifts and plaque to our guest lecturer. And this is going to be handled by our ever-smiling Vice Chancellor. So please, I invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Ojediron, to please come forward as we present the plaque and gift to our guest lecturer. Please put your hands together.
Please, let's keep clapping. Let's keep clapping, please, as they come forward. Is she not going to come? It doesn't fit you, sir.
I just told her that I think I will stop smiling.
No, it can't. That's
It's
fine,
better not
sir.
to smile. The guest lecturer, thank you for being very down to earth. You reached all of us. And you made it, you didn't talk about anything accounting, ledger and journal and all these things that are strange to all of us. You spoke in our language. Thank you very much. That was quite good. This plaque has been presented to Engineer Princess Uchenna Vivian Okolo, the Group Head, Financial Institution Unified Payment Services Limited, Fellow of the College of Management Sciences, for the outstanding presentation at the 11th Annual College Lecture. So on behalf of the college, they have made you a fellow. Congratulations. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma, please, your attention is still needed again. We have another gift for you from the university, and this will be handled by the registrar. The gift from the university.
Mr. Registrar,
Yes, sir.
Well, let me humbly invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor to present this to our guest lecturer, Divisima. I think that should be Women Affairs.
Thank you so much, sir. Oh, on behalf of the University of the okay. On behalf of the management, staff, and students of BELS, you have done us proud, including womanhood. And having come to only the best is good for BELS, we are welcoming you into the club of the best. And as a fellow of the College of Management Sciences, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, ma. DVC, ma, please, your presence is still needed here, ma. We have awards to present to our good students. Since this is a ceremony of the College of Management Sciences, we want to appreciate the best students in each department of the college. So please, I'll call forward the best students in the Department of Project Management Technology as the person of Adekolurejo Wisdom Dolapo. Please put your hands together. Come forward for your award if you're here. Yes.
The College of Management Sciences is giving this award of excellence to you for being the best student in the department for 2019-2020 academic session. You can see the women in action. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma. Secondly, we're going for, yes, ma. From the Department of Business Administration, let's, with a warm round of applause, welcome Adeyemi Balikis Ayomide. That's another woman. Adeyemi Balikis Ayomide, you are far behind. Please run down. Yeah, she's coming. Double up, double up. Please, let's clap for her. She's the best student in the Department of Business Administration. Okay, and lastly, but not the least, from the Department of Economics, Accounting, and Finance, please make welcome, she's my course advisee, Chikeze Victoria, 400 level accounting. She's the best student in accounting department. Please, a round of applause for our DVC. Thank you very much, ma'am.
All the awards went to the girls. Please bring back our boys. Please. Okay, that was on a lighter mood. There is this announcement that any student that's on board on pay attitude today will be given a token. I think a meal. Maybe for today or for tomorrow, it will be on your pay attitude account and you can use it. That's a prize. That's a prize for those who get on board today. Thank you. And I ask how many students? They say as many as possible. Please get all your friends to enjoy this. Thank you.
Wow, we have come to almost the end of the program. Now we're going to take the vote of thanks, and it will be done by Dr. Mrs. Onifade, chairman of the ceremony. Please, let's put our hands together for her, please, as she comes forward. Dr. Miss Onifade, please. Please keep clapping as she comes forward. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wow. This is nice. It is with a deep sense of gratitude that we have returned to all the glory to God for the huge success of today's college lecture. To God alone be all the glory. We cannot thank you enough, sir. Our amiable and fatherly Vice Chancellor, Professor Oludele Jeremiah Ojediran. I hope you are clapping for him. Thank you for your tireless support and unquestionable dedication to the development of this great institution. God bless you, sir. Our dearly and motherly, ever welcoming Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, you are 1 in a million. Thank you so much, ma. All principal officers, you are so wonderful, taking the lead. May God reward you all. All deans and directors here present, thank you so much. Professors here present, God bless you all. And I want to especially thank our guest lecturer, Princess Vivian Okolo. Thank you for your time, ma, and your team. Thank you for your time. All members of organizing committee of this great event, you are the best. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Now we are going to end this ceremony, but before we say the closing prayer, I'd just like to announce that the team that came with our guest lecturer, they are available. They are very much set at the back. So students and staff members, if you are interested in knowing what pay attitude is all about, so after the closing prayer, you can just walk down to the back. You see the team members are already standing. Ask them any questions and they can get you acquainted with all that we need to know. So please, may we all rise up for the closing prayer, as this will be taken by Dr. B.A. Bello.
You're welcome, sir.
We give glory to Almighty Allah for the success of today's lecture, and I pray that Almighty God will continue to bless each and every one of us. I would like to pray for the guest lecturer, that Almighty Allah will continue to provide for you in the time of your need. You will never lack. And in this midst of COVID-19 and insecurity, God will always protect you. I also want to pray for the management staff under the headship of our Vice Chancellor and also the Deputy Vice Chancellor. I pray that Almighty God will protect each and every one of you. He will give you wisdom. You will be protected, and you will never lack in your life. I also want to pray for all the staff of this university, that Almighty Allah will always protect each and every one of you. We will not record a sudden death, and you will all live to reap the fruit of our labor. I also want to pray for our students. You will not be a victim of kidnapping. You will excel in your studies, and your parents will never receive bad letter concerning you. Ina taina kaliko sara, pasali di rabika wanyari hina sani aka walaptar. Puli Allah wahadu Allah, tamadu lam yalidi walam yuladi walam yakun lau. In the name of Allah, I pray. Amen.
Please, shall we all remain standing as we listen to the school choir, please? Are we ready? School choir. Please, all remain standing. The national, the
Bells anthem.
The anthem.
On the rock, the sure foundation, stand the citadel of erudition. Learning like Bells University of Tech, built to impact knowledge, to strive towards academic excellence. Save the society from moral decadence. Brighter future lies in technology. Glowing offspring ambition. Share the dream, tread the path. Be like bearers of a prosperous nation. Raise up, celebrate the prominence of science. Glowing offspring of vision. Share the dream, tread the path. Be like bearers of a prosperous nation. Raise up, celebrate the prominence of science. Glowing offspring of vision.
National anthem.
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call day to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you. Please, everyone remain standing while everyone on the high table takes their leave first. And these following people should please join the team to go to Temperance for their lunch. The VC and the management team, Professor Dauda, Professor Akobi, all heads of departments in College of Management Sciences, all the deans here present, the Deputy Dean of College of Management Sciences, and Dr. Enilo Lobo. Please, you are all expected at the Temperance Hotel for lunch. Thank you. Bells Choir.
Last choir, please.